Hey everybody, welcome to the Obsolete Punks, another top five list for you guys. Of course, this is just our opinions, so take it easy. It's just our favorites, okay? That's it. We know there's better and we know we're missing people. Anyhow, I'm Timmy. We got Losty.
Hello.
This time around, we're giving you our top five lyricists, which this is going to be interesting. So far we've done singers, obviously. So now we're on the other end of the spectrum of the vocal thing with lyrics, which might not necessarily be the singer writing the lyrics. So they are two different topics. This should be interesting, see what we come up with. So for
Yep.
me, I had a hard time with it because when I listen to music, I am a very much music person first. Even though I do focus on vocals a lot, I'm really more focused on the cadence of how the lyrics comes out rather than what the words actually are. Like it takes me a handful of listens before I even go and bother to like, what are the lyrics to this song? So I don't know
Yeah,
how you feel on that.
I'm the same way. I'm a music first person for sure. And again, the vocals factor into all of that, but just again in like a melodic kind of way. But there's definitely songs where you hear them initially, and I can tell something's going on in the lyrics, and I'll go look at those pretty quickly and like glom onto them if it's something that really hits hard. But now there's plenty of songs that I've listened to for a very long time that I've gone back and finally looked at the lyrics and went, oh, this song was already awesome. Now it's even better. I was like, what the fuck was I doing? Why was I not looking at the lyrics on this?
Have you ever like latched onto lyrics and then you go and read them, you realize you've been singing the wrong lyrics for the longest time?
It's one of my favorite
And
things
you're like,
ever.
what? Really?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. I think I said it in the sidekick video that we just did for Rancid, where there were parts of that song that I was hearing them one way that they absolutely were not, but I love them both ways.
Exactly. And I always figured my lyrics are better. They should have just written me a letter and be like, hey, what should we do at this part?
Mhm.
Say this because it's awesome.
It makes way less sense than what you wrote.
Exactly. Keep people thinking, man. Keep them
Yeah.
wondering.
What did he mean by that?
All right, how about we kick this off with number five? Who you going with?
Okay.
Your number five, top five lyricist.
So I'll just start off, kind of saying I usually have, I don't know if I have themes or not, but I definitely have like some overarching like things that I love in music. And so for lyricists, it tends to be people that deal with the political, the socio-political, personal, deep kind of stuff. So I think this list kind of encapsulates that. Basically, people who are relatable and make me feel seen or make me feel understood. People who say things in ways that I am not always able to say it. It's like I really love a lyricist that's like, yes, that's exactly the sentiment that I have on this, and you said it way better than I ever could. So always looking for that. So in that vein, at my number five, this one was actually kind of a dark horse pick, and I even surprised myself that he ended up on here. But as I was whittling this list down, he just kept popping back up and popping back up. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, no, he's going number five. I'm going with Patrick Kindlin from Drug Church, Self Defense Family, End of the Year. I think he's got some other projects out there. I don't know, but mostly from Drug Church.
Picture being built for one thing, and when that thing is done, you feel free. Excavation, demolition, heavy timber frame, machine shop, in its shop, perfect machine. But mankind, that body's on his rudderless. But mankind, he's busy drilling holes in it. And in time, we can confirm that there's no plan. He's left to guess from birth and every turn until the sharps stop at the end. He's made to crash through walls and dead his skull. Learn nothing and be dead.
So I know he's kind of a newer artist in a way, even though he's been around in bands for, well over a decade. I think Gut Drug Church is probably even a decade old at this point. But yeah, his catalog's just huge. He's got such a deep well of subjects to go to within that catalog just really fits that bill of my love of socio-political lyrics. Like there's something beautiful and deeply philosophical about all the subjects that he covers via these kind of seedy underbelly characters and situations. And every song's got something relatable in it. Every song's got some point that he's making via these, scenarios that he's setting up. He's telling a story, but the story always has a message behind it. It's not just for telling the story. There's always some metaphor or allegory going on that's much deeper and poignant. And he's just really like one of those guys who's very clever in writing lyrics without being overly punny or on the nose about it. And yeah, just love him. I that and his delivery too. I mean, I know we're going lyrics here, but I folded that in maybe a tiny bit that I really enjoy his delivery. So yeah, I'm going with Patrick Kindlin at number 5.
That's perfectly fine because delivery to me is a big part of just lyrics. Like I said, I listen to music, I listen to vocals, I love them, but it's always the cadence. So yeah, Drug Church, fantastic band. Check them out, everybody. If you have not really listened to Drug Church, they are fantastic. So, all right, so I'm gonna move on. My number 5 here. I'm going to throw out actually 2 shout outs because I ended up bumping so many people out of number 5, but there's 2 that I have to specifically call out. First one is actually kind of a joke. Dennis Welch, specifically with The Revenge, because I don't think he ever wrote a single word for that fucking band, and he sounds fantastic. He's just like, I'm not going to bother to take the time. I'm just going to go out there and sound syllables that just run together and it sounds like words. It's fucking great. But technically, actual number 5 was a 100% virtual tie between 2 people for the same exact reason of how they write their lyrics. So I ended up bumping it up to like a 50.1% to 49.9%. So dropping down the 49.9%, I'm going to shout out Mike LaDon of Chaser. So the person that actually ended up at number 5 is Jason DeVore, Authority Zero.
Just watching it all explode right here and now. This is the time. No, I can't hear you. Love and loss apart, I'm blocking on forget. Expecting the worst, but always praying for the best. You hold to something and watch it all slip away. It's here in this moment. There's nothing here left to see. Is there nothing at all left to see? Is there nothing at all left to be? Now we're running in places that would hell off the right, and I can see in your face still. There's no other place that I'd rather be than right where I'm standing with you here beside me. Yeah, there's no other time that I'd rather know than here in this moment, just watching it all explode.
So, reason these 2 are absolute virtual tie in my mind is they always they talk about serious subjects to an extent, right? But really, they always add in a whole lot of just like hopefulness in their lyrics or a lot of positivity or, hey, if you don't like the way this shit's going, go out there and do something about it. Make a positive change to make the world a better place. Don't just sit around and bitch about it. Do something. So there's not a whole lot of lyricists in punk rock. A lot of lyricists in punk rock just come out, either just write goofy songs for the fun of it, or they're just mellow, dramatic, just, everything sucks and here's why it sucks. Okay, what are you going to do about it then? So Jason really ups that game of actually giving that positive message. So I love Jason DeVore. So he's going number 5.
Hell yeah. That's a great pick, and actually really segues well into my pick. A lot of the sentiments you just brought up for Jason can absolutely be applied to who I have here at number 4.
Nice. I'm excited.
So my number 4 is going to be Thomas Barnett, Inquisition, Strike Anywhere, great collapse.
Well, you always
The man just writes pure political poetry. He's got a talent for taking really big themes and ideas and turning them into these protest anthems that like speak to your soul. He's the person that's at the front of the march with the bullhorn, hyping everybody up, encouraging them along. He's that friend who says, I know shit's fucked up, but like, you can do this. I believe in you. And he makes you believe it. So again, that same sentiment of like, yeah, I know things are bad. Let's get together and we can do this. We can make a change. And I always feel that way when I'm listening to Strike Anywhere. They do make me feel like hopeful, even though they're pointing out all the horrible things that are happening in the world. But yeah, just kind of telling you to be like, stay the course. You're doing the right thing, and we can do this. Just makes you feel like you're not alone. You believe in yourself. He's just one of those artists who gets it, and I'm just so glad he exists in the world to make me personally me. I mean, Thomas only exists in bands for me personally to make me feel strong and not alone. But no, I mean, I like that. That's sent like that's kind of I think that's the way he makes a lot of people feel with his lyrics. So yeah, very much just one of those people who is right here in my soul.
Yeah, he's awesome. He has a great voice too, like just
Mhm.
powerful delivery. Not to
Yeah,
get into the vocalist things, but he's great. He's great.
yeah,
Absolutely love him.
for sure. And I know like lyrically he can get kind of repetitive, but I always see it as like he's using his voice as an instrument in
Mhm.
that way. So yes, he and they write protest music. So I think it fits that bill too in that regard where protest music is often
Yeah,
like just on
gotta get
message,
that
repetitive,
anthem.
and exactly. Yeah.
All right, so moving on, my number four here. I am going with a legendary Jesse Michaels.
Concrete can't rise up. But a weapon puzzles land like a giant roundhouse. Foresight down below. Foundations of buildings that are better about. People here got it real good. Get some glass house spring. Prepare up day. And other people off in the streets. Concrete no snow. Sympathy. Big city. Big city. Big city. Big city. Big city. Big city. Big city, get the west and well, big city, get to living hell. The sound is fucking insane. One will stop and another will gain. It's like a giant.
Obviously, most known for Operation Ivy. That's like his big, well-known thing. But before that, he was doing Crimp Shrine. Now he's doing what are they called? Doom
Oh,
something.
yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that one
Doom
exactly.
Regulator? Is that
Doom
it?
Regulator sounds right. Yeah, I was thinking,
Yeah,
Common Writer and Classics of Love. And,
Common Writer. Yep.
yeah.
So his catalog is better than or bigger than what I usually think of because I'm so focused on Operation Ivy, but I don't care because his lyricism is so good where he's dealing with politics, he's dealing with racism, he's dealing with like, hey, we need to come together. He's even just talking about everyday life and what a struggle it can be to get through and all this. But the way he writes his lyrics, he paints a picture that you can see clearly in your head like if you listen to like songs like Big City, if I was to tell somebody who doesn't live in a city, hey, what's it like to live in a city? Oh, just go listen to Big City by Operation Ivy because it paints that picture. You can see it in your head and it makes perfect sense. So I just always appreciated his ability to really write it out, to just turn it into this artwork that paints that picture. So that's why I would go with Jesse Michaels, number four.
I suppose I should have stopped you at the very beginning right there and told you that my number three is also Jesse Michaels.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Freeze up coming, there's a freeze up coming. Patience as a torch radiating blinding light. Plastic and fluorescent energy robbing us of sight. Set in our way, content without a K. We wave the flag of freedom as we conquer and invade. Ever ask yourself, where's my place in this hell? But no one's there to tell you cause they don't know that themselves. Well rehearsed, mantra for related politicians. No longer offer solace, we can see the self-destruction. 1989, stand up and take a look around. Well, it's been a distance, it seems to sinking down. Strong with power and fighting one another. Every hour starts a winter getting harder. There's a freeze up, there's a freeze up coming. There's a freeze up.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say because you got a lot of it, man. There was a lot of the same points I was going to make about him. Absolute icon. Like, where do you even start with a guy like that? He's done so much for the scene over the years. Just such an important person. The way he like spoke to me, 16 to like 21-year-old me, was just every single subject that he was touching on felt so relatable and so on point. Everything from a lot of it's political, but political in the sense that it can be governmental, it can be societal, it could even be politics within friend groups and that kind of stuff, which is something that I mean, I guess people talk about it in the punk scene, but like navigating friend groups and like social situations in the punk scene can be harrowing sometimes. And if not harrowing, at least just like difficult. There's a lot of big personalities in the scene. There's a lot of drama in the scene for how unified it is. And yeah, I always appreciated Jesse's takes on that. So yeah, I can't really say much more about him. Absolute icon. So good. So good.
It's funny you brought up the differences in the scene. I got to thinking, like, do you feel like punk rock has become a religion these days of like you have the Christian religion that's broken out into so many different
Yeah,
sects and denominations, and everybody's like, no, my version is right, yours is wrong.
exactly.
You're all on the same team, people. You're all on the same team,
You
okay?
got the fundamentalists, you
Bottom
got the
line.
Unitarians.
Oh, it's
Yep.
nuts. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
Jesse.
hey, random just because we were talking about, stuff beside lyrics, but Jesse's cadence and his
Oh, it's
energy and delivery,
beautiful.
he's got maybe one of the best like deliveries and cadences, hands down in punk.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Gorgeous. It is perfect.
yes, sir.
Like he gets every syllable down to a science of where, oh, it's crazy. It's so good.
Mhm. And how he just kind of weaves in and out of that like rapid fire delivery and then drawing things out when they need to be drawn out.
Mhm.
He's not a one trick pony when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
he's
very
brilliant, man.
very hip hop
Brilliant.
in a way almost.
Yeah. Speaking of hip hop, my
Oh
number
yeah,
three
yeah.
has nothing to do with hip hop whatsoever, but another absolute legend in the scene, Jello Biafra.
Punk's not dead, it just deserves to die when it becomes another stale cartoon. A closed-minded, self-centered social club. Ideas don't matter, it's who you know. If the music's gotten boring, it's because of the people who want everyone to sound the same, who drive the bright people out of our so-called scene, till all that's left is just a meaningless fad. I got one in the darkness, gently carrying on what we are. Is this the state of mind? Just another label. The giant hustle.
Oh, Jello. I mean, where do you even begin? Way back in the day, he was taking on everything. He was taking on politics, racism, homophobia, uh, sexism. He was even taking on the punk rock scene, saying, "You guys are fucking idiots. What are we doing here? This is stupid." And he's out there. I don't even have words for like Jello and just his manic way of putting words together and presenting them. He is just legendary. I don't care what, I think there's a lot of people who absolutely love Dead Kennedys and others are like, that's the most annoying band I've ever heard in my life. But if you listen to everything the guy has to say, he's so brilliant and just doesn't care what subject he's taking on. He's going to tackle it if he feels anything about it. If something needs to be said, he's going to say it. So I love Jello Biafra. That's why I'm putting him number three.
That's a great choice. Again, showing my ass here a little bit. Jello's not on my list, but yeah, gotta just say like Jello, Joe Strummer, like those two guys probably for people that are on my list, I would say that they probably had the most influence, or at least set they maybe not even if they had the most influence, but they at least set the stage for the people that I picked. So again, just personal preferences here for what I really enjoy listening to. I love The Clash. I love Dead Kennedys. Yeah, and very much appreciate laying the groundwork for all of
Yeah.
this. So yeah, so glad you put Jello on the list.
I just love lyricists like that who are like, you know what? I need to say something about it, and I'm going to say something about it, and I don't give a fuck whether or not you agree.
Yep.
This is how I feel. There you go. You want to argue about it? We can talk about it. I'm going to start a discussion is what I'm going to do with my lyrics. So
Yep. Also one of those guys who's very like satirical and can point out how ridiculous things are while still being serious about it.
mhm. All right, we are on number two, all the way down to number two. We are
Wow.
flying here.
I know, right?
Who you got? Number two. I'm not making poop jokes. This is not number two. I'm just saying.
I, I was kind of trying to think of some witty thing to tack onto that, but where do you go from a poop joke?
Right. It all ends right there.
It's the ultimate end all. Yeah. I maybe okay, so maybe here's how I can wrap this in. People are gonna give me shit for this, potentially. Again, don't care. Chris Hanna's number two.
Really? I had him penciled in for your number one. I got to
He's
move that up.
yeah, he's number two. Close number one for sure. But yeah, like I've said many times before, he's the lyricist in my favorite band, so he's going on the list for a variety of reasons. I also have to like shout out Todd. I love Todd's lyrics. Todd's kind of like 2B here, almost in a way. He's like the microtone in between the picks, but just focusing on Chris.
Hapless citizens of the new post-traumatic stress worldwide disorder. A Stockholm syndrome fifth the state. Desperate to batten down the mounting horror and shuffle on in a global notice gate. Content to marinade in the plasma globe. Entertainment prisons we commune before light times nor shines. Are these but votive lives?
His writing on how to clean everything, because of my age and when I grew up, I didn't really know Dead Kennedys. I didn't really know Clash. I didn't know a lot. I didn't know a lot of the older bands, or at least I knew of them, but I wasn't listening to them. So as far as like stuff that inspired me, stuff that was important to me, Propaganda's right up there. How to Clean Everything absolutely opened my world to political discourse in a way that was like so pointed and clear, even though the themes on that album are maybe a little broader than some of the other stuff they've done. But it's exactly what 16-year-old me needed to have my eyes open, was that album. And then every subsequent album after that was just like a journey further down the rabbit hole of opening my mind to new ideas, to just general history and things that were going on in the world that nobody was talking about, or not that nobody, but the general public was certainly not addressing, or you were not going to hear about in mainstream, media or anything like that. And the way he started to like fold in the personal with the socio-political, like talking about all the things that are going on in the world and how all these things are connected, and then kind of bringing in like how this affects you personally. So whereas we're talking about a lot of these people that are like getting you hyped up to be like, yeah, go change something. Jason's writing some lyrics that are making you feel hopeful, and maybe Thomas writes some lyrics that feel hopeful. Chris doesn't necessarily write hopeful lyrics. He writes some pretty like real hard truth lyrics. But what I appreciate in there is that he, especially on New Propaganda, there's a lot of grace, like personal grace in there to say like, it's okay. Like you can try your hardest to make this world a better place, but there are some big forces against you, and don't get down about it. It's okay to to just give yourself some personal grace when it comes. You don't have to be like on all the time. You don't have to always be doing the right thing. You can understand that like you might be part of the problem sometimes. And I just like the way that he points that stuff out. There's just another aspect of his lyrical writing too, especially in newer stuff, where I feel like they usually had about a 4-year gap or so in between albums. And I could always feel like whatever I've gone through, whatever I've thought about, whatever I've been feeling in those 4 years, there's going to be a Propaganda album that's going to come out, and Chris is going to put into words perfectly everything that I've been going. It's like we're living these parallel lives in between Propaganda albums. And so he's just one of those lyricists that I feel like those are the lyrics that I would want to write, or the lyrics that I would write that I just don't have the ability to. So absolutely love him. I could just go on and on.
I'm still shocked he's at number two. To be honest. I'm like, holy shit, what?
I think you'll see why when I get to number one, but
All right. No, he is great though. He has talked about a lot of subjects I've never even heard of in my life. And I'm like, oh, this is educational. I like it. So
exactly.
he's awesome. All right. So my number two is actually a combination of two lyricists, and I'm sure you're going to understand why as soon as it comes out of my mouth. So it's going to be Greg Graffin and Brett Gurewitz of Bad Religion.
Individuals run for cover, but I'm under the dollar stones. I've reached a critical mass. I've reached a critical mass. Individuals hide in fear, undercover sheltered by the wafer. Thin veil of intelligence, thin veil of intelligence. Individuals, nowhere to be seen. Ratios and nation is a practical way to derive an attitude of altitude and probability by which to abide. Or maybe a theophany of flaming creosote in disguise.
So I have to put the two of them together because we know what happened when Brett left the band. It was just Greg trying so hard. He's so used to only having to write half the songs, and his lyrics are so well put together. How do you come up with that many songs for a full album and keep it going, especially because they have such different writing styles? So I put them together because of what they bring to the band, and they bring completely different things. Like Greg is very to the point. This is what it's about, in your face. I'm going to tell you. You might have to look up words in a dictionary, but I think he even puts them in a way that even when he's using those big words, because of the context they're used in, you understand what he's talking about. You might want to go back later to look up to get the exact definition of the word. I get that. That's true. But then you have Brett on the opposite end of the spectrum for the most part, where his lyrics, I don't know if artsy is the right word, they're just more poetic. They
Abstract,
make you
maybe?
think abstract. Like you can take a lot of his lyrics, whatever they mean to you is what they mean to you. What they mean to somebody else, they're going to mean something to that person. Like I can just think of, he's got tons of my favorite Bad Religion songs. So I'm glad he joined back in the band. But he's got like songs that are just like, what the hell are you talking about? But still paints a picture. Like Beyond Electric Dreams is one of my absolute favorite Bad Religion songs. But the lyrics on that are just, what the hell are you talking about, dude? So it's just this beautiful combination of Brett and Greg that, as far as lyricist goes, that made Bad Religion such a good band. So that's why I'm putting them both number two.
That's very solid. Yeah. Can't disagree with having them on here. Yeah, I like that you pointed out the dichotomy between the two of them because they are so very, very different as writers. But when it comes together in a Bad Religion setting, there's often times where I can't like pick them apart and tell exactly who's doing what or who's writing what. But no, it's very clear, like songs that are just Brett songs, like Stranger Than Fiction. You're just like, you're telling me a story. I don't know what that story is, but it sounds nice. Whereas, yeah, with Greg, it's I wouldn't say Greg is like super obvious either in his lyrics. His stuff is pretty veiled as well, but there's at least a little bit more maybe to grasp onto than there is with Brett.
There's such a perfect ebb and flow between the two of them. It's like this fluid motion of just beautiful, beautiful perfection. Love it.
Yeah. Good working relationship for many, many years. You can tell that they're tight.
Absolutely. Well, here we go, Losty. We're down to number one, and now I'm going to be surprised with who you came up with because it's not who I thought you were going to have. So
I don't know if you'll be surprised when I actually say it, but it kind of goes a little bit along the lines of what you were saying about Brett in terms of being like, you can take this person's lyrics in a lot of different ways. You can interpret them a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not, and it doesn't matter most of the time because some of them are just pretty open-ended, and that's the way it's meant to be. My number one is John K. Samson.
Some protest song, like maybe we shall overcome someday. Overcome the stupid things we say. Say I needed more than this. Say I needed one more kiss. Left that light on way too long now. somewhere love and justice shine. Cynicism falls asleep. Tyranny talks to itself.
You know what? That's funny. He's one I bumped out of my top 5 because I got
Okay.
to thinking about it. Sure, he was in Propaganda. He wrote, 2, 3 songs in that band as far as lyrics goes. But then I thought he's best known really for the Weaker Thans. And are they really a punk band?
So
Eh.
I understand it's a bit of a stretch to have John in a punk list, especially at number 1.
No,
But
I agree. I love him. I
yeah,
love him.
I do think his ties to the scene is enough. His time in Propaganda is enough. He didn't write a lot, you're right, in Propaganda, but it's the fact that he, like, so many punks adore his work, and that his themes, like, while not presented in like a traditional punk format, are still very punk, especially on early Weaker Thans stuff from a lyrical standpoint. So while the aesthetic, like the musical aesthetic of the band, doesn't fit the bill of being a punk band, they've always been a punk band to me. I know later on in their career, John's gotten very into like storytelling and a lot less, a lot more away from what they were doing early on. But I still think like that stuff is buried in there, kind of the same way Patrick, not all of his stuff is on the nose political or social stuff, but there's always that little tinge of it going on underneath. There's also this idea that, like, yeah, I wouldn't even necessarily consider John a punk. I don't know if John considers himself a punk, you know, anymore, or hasn't for a long time, but he's one of those guys that practices what he preaches. And he often doesn't need to preach, just practice, which I think is especially punk. So, as far as his lyrics, though, he is a poet and storyteller in the absolute truest sense of those words. He creates these just like vivid mindscapes, and he leaves so much up to the listener's imagination in a way that you can like understand the overall sentiment maybe of what he's going for, but there's also so many spaces for you to color in with your own feelings and experiences and ways that you can apply his lyrics to your own life, even though it might not be exactly, what he was going for. It's just some of the most like, yeah, beautifully put together wordplay out there. And again, his lyrics can be sociopolitical, but not in an in your face way, more in a calming, grounding kind of way. Even when they're dealing with these big or sad feelings, he just was one of those lyricists that made me see beauty in everything, regardless of good, bad, sad, funny. Like, everything is beautiful in its own way. And John makes me feel that every time he writes a word down.
Yeah, he's definitely one, like you were saying. He's one that's in my head. I can picture everything he's talking about. It's crazy. He's one of those that just paints that very realistic picture in your head with his words. And the way I take them might be different than the way somebody else takes them, but I see it clearly the way I see it based on his words. Like, I mean, even not to call it a simple song, but just the simple story in a way of like a cat named Bertute. Come on, dude. Those
Yep.
lyrics are brilliant. And I can just picture everything going on when I listen to that song. He is John K. Samson.
Yeah.
I love that you picked him number 1. I felt so bad leaving him off the list.
Like you said, it's hard. There's too many good people out there to, say this is going to be a definitive top 5. This top 5 is going to change probably for me over, like, I had Frank Turner. Frank Turner's fantastic. He's for probably go on this list at some point, and it just depends on like where I'm at, in my life at certain times. Like, this guy falls in, this person falls out. It's the way it goes.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna see. Can you guess my number 1?
Well, I don't know. Jello and Greg and
who's
Brett are
left?
out of the way. I'm trying to think. Why don't you just tell me?
You know what? Once these words come out of my mouth, I'm gonna say this. With as much as we've listened and checked out things from this band
Oh,
on our
I know who it
channel,
is. I know who it is.
you should know exactly who it is because
I
this
do
is the
now.
one and only band that I constantly rave about the lyrics. So, number 1 for me, Captain No Fun, Total Massacre.
Sacrifice upon the altar of keeping the light going up. While profit margins falter, no king created beauty. They can't understand for bullshit they can't quantify. And all we're left with is a survey of the
my God, I adore everything that he writes. Like he'll talk about anything. He doesn't give a shit. He'll talk about it, and he takes these super dark, serious subjects, and you listen to the song, and you're like, oh, this is really, really fucked up. And then out of nowhere, he'll just say something that just makes you laugh. And it's thrown in there just to point out how absolutely fucking ridiculous everything he's talking about is. Like, why are we doing this? This is so stupid, and here's why. So he's one of those, I think a lot of people could listen to him and absolutely disagree with some of the things he has to say. But I don't think anybody could actually read the lyrics and be like, no, you're completely wrong. Like you would have to say, no, that's actually a good, valid point. I might disagree with it, but you're stating it really well. So, Captain No Fun, Total Massacre, hats off to you, buddy. Fucking love your lyrics so much. So, thank you for giving them to my life and to the world. And
That
he's one I actually believe like you'll hear singers and songwriters, people in bands being like, I don't know what I would do with my life, how to get through it if I couldn't do this. And I think he truly is one of those. Like this is his therapy to be like, this shit's all fucked up and I needed to get it out of my fucking brain. So here's the song.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think he has more or less said as much a few times we've had him on. Yeah, totally agree with that. That's I don't know if that was somehow surprising and not surprising at number one. I thought maybe Russ Rankin was gonna go there. I'm sure he was like maybe in the running at some point. I don't know why when you were like, I don't know who else is left. Why I don't know why Cap didn't come to mind. Like Russ was the only person I was like, I think that's who it is, but no, I love it. That's a great surprise.
No, he's the one, like every time we checked out their songs, I just cling on to their lyrics so much and just being like, hell yeah, dude, that is written so well. I love it.
He's got such a good
Oh,
delivery that makes his stuff like really easily listenable on initially. Like you can listen to a Total Massacre song and hear and pick up like 90% of what he's saying in a song,
mhm.
which is great.
Just a fantastic guy too. He's so cool. He's so
Oh yeah.
nice and outgoing and rad, dude.
Yeah,
That whole
indeed.
band is awesome.
I love that there's still amazing bands doing that thing in 2026.
Well, everybody, there you go. Another top five in the books. Remember, this once again is just our opinions. We would love to hear who you
Mhm.
guys love. I'm sure you guys know a lot of people who really write a ton of lyrics that hit you in the soul because that's what it's about. So if you have any, please drop them in the comments. Let us know. We'd love to hear. Any other ideas for top fives you might think of? Drop them in there. We take those into consideration for sure. So,
Yeah.
well, with that, it's another top five in the books. Last thoughts, Losty?
It was good. I don't I'm bad at wrapping things up.
And there we go. Stick around, everybody. More top fives, more tier lists, all kinds of things coming your way, along with our usual music reactions. So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining.
Thanks everybody. Bye.